so let's move on to maximizing your time. Module 2, tip 2, we're going to talk about how to make the most of the time that you are going to spend in English, okay? So we can do what I called combined learning, and this is what you are already doing and trying to incorporate English into that. So if you go to page 23 of your workbook, and you will see some ideas of how you can do that. So think about the things that you do in your life and think about how you can incorporate English into them, okay? And also think about, as we talked about before, how you can be more active in some things. And some things are passive, that you're doing other things at the same time, and that's okay. Examples could be listening to the radio when you're driving, listening to a podcast, watching a series in English, even with subtitles to begin with, joining English activities in your area if they exist, or online. Indeed, now a lot of activities are online. Okay, this takes time to become accustomed to. You need to create the habit of doing it, but it will help. Every little bit helps, so try your best, okay? One thing that you can do directly from the beginning is change your devices to English. Change your mobile, your laptop, your computer, the settings of your TV, as many things as you can to English. The apps that you download, try to read the news in English. Try to have as much English coming into your life as possible, okay? This is what you need to try to do. So let's move down to the bottom of page 23, talking about maximizing your time as well. So one thing you can do is combine activities, and another thing you can do is have one activity do several things in English for you at the same time. For example, if you listen to a podcast in this example, it helps you with your pronunciation because you're hearing the pronunciation. Helps you with your speaking because, again, you're hearing the pronunciation. There are words repeated over and over that you're learning how to say. The vocabulary increases because you're learning new vocabulary. The grammar increases because you're learning how things are said. And of course, the most obvious one, you're understanding. Okay, so one activity can help with a lot of things, you know. So in page 24, if you go to your table, you go to this page, you will see 3 columns. In the first column, you should write down as many activities as you can that you do on a regular basis. For example, drive the car alone, do the dishes, do the housework, go for a walk, go to the gym, anything, things that you do alone or that you do on a regular basis, that you could be doing something else like listening or something like that. Write down how you could incorporate English into this activity. Another idea could be if you have children that you could read to them in English. This is not as easy as it sounds because the vocabulary can be quite difficult. You have to pronounce the words, so it's practicing your speaking, for example. So something like that. Be creative. Think of all the ways that you can improve your English like this. So number 1, write down up to 10 things you do on a regular basis. Beside that, write down how you could incorporate English. The page before, we had some examples, and write down the areas that you're going to improve by doing this, okay? If we go to the next page, you will see some ideas of how to find resources for each area, okay? So listening could be podcasts, YouTube, series, movies, or music. Writing, some homework tasks, a daily diary. There's actually apps online that you can use for this. It automatically corrects your writing. Vocabulary, anything you do in English is increasing your vocabulary, but specifically reading books, listening to podcasts, things like that. Next page gives you ideas for speaking, joining a group, reading out loud. Reading is probably one of the easier things to do. You can read blogs, you can change your devices into English, read your social media in English, things like that. And grammar, I mean, it's easy to find grammar websites. So for example, if you travel by bus, you could be doing a grammar exercise on your phone, things like this, okay? So some ideas are there that you can read. Professional English as well, a lot of resources for that you can use, okay? In page 28, you will see how one activity can improve several areas at once. So for example, your speaking improves your pronunciation, vocabulary, speaking obviously, and confidence, things like that, okay?